We're at San Ramon Valley High School in Danville, and we're talking to a few students about safe driving and what that means to them. And I'm here with Lanny. Lanny, what's your last name?
Amac.
Lanny Amac is a senior at San Ramon Valley High School. Lanny, how long have you been driving?
Oh gosh, feels like forever. I've been driving for about a year and a half now, I think.
Okay. What do you drive?
I drive a Mazda 3. It's actually stick shift, so.
Okay. Did you learn on a stick shift?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I learned. Well, first of all, I started driving with an automatic, but then my dad kind of let me try out a stick shift for a little bit. But
do you think it's there's actually less distractions than a stick shift, because obviously your right hand has to be on that stick lever? So is that something that you think is actually beneficial when it comes to things like having a cell phone, because you have to have one hand on the steering wheel, so it's hard for you to have a cell phone talking on a cell phone at the same time, right?
yeah, well, yeah, definitely. Well, it can either be a blessing or a harm, because you never know. Like if you do try to talk on cell phone, it's a lot harder because you are supposed to have your hand on the stick shift. But I feel like it keeps me from doing a lot of those things because, you know, I know that I have to be shifting and I have to use both my feet. So I feel like it does kind of keep me in line a little bit more and keep me focusing on driving rather than doing everything else.
Do you feel more comfortable as the driver or the passenger?
I personally feel more comfortable as a driver just because I know I have more control, and I feel like I'm able to kind of like know the whole situation around me, whereas when I'm the passenger, you never know what's going to happen and you don't have like the wheel in your hands.
So as a person who's in control of her driving, what's some advice you could give to maybe kids who are just learning to drive, maybe students who you might see in the parking lot who have, whether they have their permit or their license, about safe driving?
I would have to say that like everything's a big deal. Like you may not think about it, but like even your radio, your cell phone, even just talking to someone looking off the side of the road, like anything can happen. So you just really got to be careful and just, you know, take note of every little thing that happens and be really aware on the field.
What do you see as the biggest issue regarding teens and driving right now? Is it the distractions that they face?
Yeah, I would say distractions, and I know that there's a new law out there where you can't drive your friends for the first year, and I think that's a really good law because a lot of it's like friends. When you have your friends in the car, you know, you want to turn up the music, you want to like have fun, and yeah, I'd just say that that's really hard when you're first starting out.
Right. Well, Lanny, good luck the rest of the school year, and thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're back here at San Ramon Valley High School in Danville for the inaugural kickoff of the It Happens Street Smarts campaign, which really teaches and preaches smart driving, especially among teen drivers. I am standing next to Lisa Donnie. Lisa Donnie is a senior here at San Ramon Valley High. Lisa, how long have you had your license? How long have you been driving?
I've had my license for about 2 years now, so I've been driving since I was about 16.
You're familiar with the fact that our campaign is entitled It Happens. A lot of things happen, especially when you are just learning to drive. What are some things that maybe you see driving to and from school, kids in the parking lot, kids who are not just drivers but also pedestrians, students on their bikes, things like that, that can create unsafe driving conditions?
Well, I know I see a lot of kids either messing with their cell phones, texting their friends, or just playing with the radio. And then they tend to not be paying as much attention to where they're going. And then you have the pedestrians and the bikers on the streets who are just expecting that the cars are going to see them when they really don't. And so I've actually seen some really close near misses where students in the parking lot almost got hit.
Do you do most of your driving on the freeway? Do you come to and from school via city traffic? You mainly drive in Danville. What's the extent of the driving that you do? Do you go on any long trips or anything like that?
I mainly do most of my driving just around town. I'll go on the highway sometimes, but actually don't even need to go on the highways to get to school.
Okay, great. Is that something you consciously do just because you know that there are more hazards out there?
I would say that I make a conscious effort because for the first year that I had my license, my mom wouldn't let me go on the highway by myself just because she said there's too many hazards and I don't want to put you in that position. So I think that helped like create an awareness in me that there's more distractions on the highway.
Personally, what's the biggest distraction that you face? Is it tough for you not to reach for that cell phone? Is it tough for you not to turn up the volume on the stereo? What are the things that are the biggest challenges for you as a driver?
I would say either playing with my music or turning up the stereo, and also the cell phones, being tempted to text your friends or pick up the phone when you hear it ringing, and that's a big distraction.
Good. Hey, Lisa, thanks a lot. I appreciate the time. I'm Terry Caney, and we're back here at San Ramon Valley High School in Danville for the inaugural kickoff for the Street Smarts campaign entitled It Happens. It's an awareness campaign for high school students, those students who are driving, those students who are pedestrians, those students who are bike riders or skateboarders, about the issue of safe driving and safe traffic conditions. And with me now is Keon. What's your last name, Keon?
Sainya.
Keon Sainya is a senior here at San Ramon Valley High School. Keon, I'm going to ask you, like I've asked the other students, how long have you been driving? And what are some things that you look out for in regards to, safe traffic conditions and those kinds of things?
Well, I've been driving for about 1.5 years, and I usually, when I'm driving, I look out for pedestrians. That's my biggest thing to look out for, because they're always out there and it's hard to see them sometimes. And when I'm driving my car, I always make sure my music is turned down low so that I'm not distracted, and to try to eliminate all other distractions.
You know, we, for years, especially California, but I think nationwide, the whole seatbelt campaign and the click it or ticket kind of campaign that's been around for a long time, people now get that. They understand that there are ramifications, there are consequences behind not buckling up before you drive. And I think, for the most part, people buckle up, and it's worked. What are some things, if you were to generate a campaign, what would you focus on in regards to particularly teens who drive now?
I would probably say making sure that teens eliminate distractions like cell phones. Cell phones are a huge, huge thing today. Texting is a big thing while you're driving. Also, most cell phones have the internet on them now. When people call, it's a huge distraction. So I think that if we tried to get teens to maybe turn off or silence their cell phones before they even enter the car, that would be a great idea, especially since the law where no cell phone tolerance is going to come into effect very soon.
When you do you have your cell phone on, and when you do you have a headset, or how does that work for you?
I try to turn my cell phone on silent once I get into the car, just so that if anybody calls me or texts me, I won't have the urge to look down and be distracted by it.
Good for you. What kind of car you drive?
I drive a Volkswagen Jetta.
Nice, fabulous. Okay, talk a little bit about some of the things that you've seen behind the wheel, whether you've been in the car with friends of yours, whether you've been in your car with your parents, things like that you've seen that have maybe been potential hazards, things that have created unsafe conditions.
Well, I personally have not gotten in any accidents myself, but I have many friends who have been into multiple accidents, and I know that being in the car with a lot of friends is a huge distraction because everyone's talking, there's music. So, I mean, music and having friends in the car is definitely a big distraction with your friends when you're driving. Okay,
great. Thanks, Keanu. I appreciate your time. And thanks to all the students who participated in our It Happens Street Smarts campaign today here at San Ramon Valley High School. I want to thank Janet Wilford, the leadership teacher here at San Ramon, for a tremendous amount of help that she provided. And if you want more information about the campaign, you can go to the website. Do you know the website?
I believe it's Contra Costa County Safe Driving.
It's something like that. We'll get back to you with the website because it's now escaping me, but I think it's streetsmarts.org, I believe is the name of the website. But we'll get back to you on that one. And all we can say, Keon, any advice for people who are out there driving?
Drive safe. Turn off your cell phone.
Drive safe. Turn off your cell phone. Thanks a lot.